Could be.
Okay, 6:37.
Okay, call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Like to here.
Wait. These things don't fly.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want that to continue. Thank you.
There we go.
Okay.
Ken, everyone.
Roll call.
Okay. Penny?
Here.
Carol?
Here.
Me? Teresa?
Here.
Pat?
Here.
And Lenny? And Tim? Zoom.
I am here.
Okay. Okay, got you all in there. Okay, Carol.
Okay, nobody here from the public, so no public comment. Okay, minutes, you guys have your minutes. Do you need to review them or do you have a chance to? No corrections, comments on the minutes? Okay, motion by Pat,
Pat?
second. I second it.
Teresa?
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, treasurer reports bills to be paid. And you already had it. What happened to all our money? Should we be going?
Well, and you'll notice there's less because we just did it last month, so there's not 2 months here.
That's true too.
To see why your paperwork's a lot thinner.
Is there any questions or concerns on the treasurer's report and bills to be paid? What is the spend that?
That is our mortgage, our mortgage.
Service loan.
It's like a mortgage, though, let me tell you. It's our government loan, our Fannie Mae.
It closed at, I want to say in 2004, maybe it's a 30-year loan.
It was
Oh,
04, Carol. Yeah,
It's the loan.
yeah.
Closed 2004.
04, yeah.
And so we have that for 30 years.
Wow. Okay, I gotta find it. It's that 13,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's that amount forever and ever and ever.
It never changes.
Well, after 30 years, I mean, it doesn't change.
No, it's like, that's why I say it's our mortgage.
Yeah.
Our mortgage doesn't change.
If not, anything else? Then we need a motion to accept the treasurer's report and pay the bills.
They're typically paid, but.
I wrote it.
Okay.
Did you give me the check?
I didn't. I put everything in
Okay.
that folder.
All right.
Okay, all
Just
those.
don't let me.
Oh, yeah, I put everything.
Okay, who was the motioner?
Me.
You?
And Pat. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Hey, Tim?
You're up, Tim.
So last month we talked about a grant or something to that extent with regard to the new vehicle for Lenny. I did a fair amount of research on this, and a problem right now is so many grants and funds are tied to American Rescue Plan money. And that's not anything the authority has, and that would have to come from either the township or the borough, and I can guess what their response would be with that. So a little over a week ago, I'm now a member of the Pennsylvania Municipal Authorities Association as part of being the solicitor for the authority. And I reached out to their authority or their association and asked one of their specialists there, saying, I'm kind of not running into anything here outside of ARP funds. Is there anything you would suggest? She was going to put together a report for me But I think she's on vacation this week because I called her Friday. I called her again yesterday, and I left another voicemail today and did not have any response. She seemed to think that there might be something out there, but I don't know the process. Loans, or excuse me, grants aren't really my cup of tea. A lot of times my involvement in grants are generally the grants are secured through an engineer. I mean, this would be a little different on that front, but in general, that's kind of my role with grant procurement. I don't know what state the truck is in. I know it sounded a bit dire when we talked about it in July. But if it's something that maybe can wait one more month, I might have a better answer. And maybe nothing at all. I don't know. But she seemed I think her name was Kristen, if I remember correctly, at the MAA. Said she might have something and was going to put a whole report for me together. And I was hoping to have that for the board tonight, for the authority tonight, excuse me. But she did not get back to me before today. So really up to the authority is what you want to do with that. See if she has any options. If not, proceed accordingly with the purchase of the vehicle.
Can you, Len, can you keep it together with duct tape and?
Yeah, I mean, it's
For another month. Okay. Yeah, he said we could, I think, yeah, we should wait. I know Len did find a truck, but it's of course gone already because it's a hard time now to find a truck. But he got the information from CoStars, so might as well go ahead and talk about it now. I don't think it's under your report.
No, it's not. That's really all I've had. That was the one item I kind of focused on this month, and that was about it, unfortunately. Like I said, so much of the grants and loans are tied to American Rescue Plan that it's hard to. You can do whatever you want with ARP funds if you have them, but authorities for the most part really aren't getting any of that money. It's going straight to the municipalities. So I looked. New Florence and St. Clair received funds, but it seems very unlikely to me that they would be willing to spend those precious dollars on a vehicle for an authority. But I can't really answer that question, to be honest with you.
Something I completely, when Len and I were talking, and we were talking here, completely skipped my mind was municipal too. All of it, municipalities across Pennsylvania put out, school district, any public entity puts out on municipal their vehicles, and there's actually some pretty decent vehicles on there. So I think in this next 30 days or so too, maybe we can look on that. And anybody can go on.
Yeah, Kiski Township just listed some old police cars on Municipal at our last meeting, whenever that was, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
they've always had some nice luck selling and buying stuff there. So,
yeah, so I think we'll look at that too. And yeah, I know because when we were looking, we were thinking of going to school.
like an online auction.
Yeah, but it's all in the municipal.
Yeah.
So
When we were looking for the new cruiser, we went on there and looked.
that might not be a bad idea for selling the truck. Believe it or not, one of the townships I represent sold a vehicle that didn't work at all, a police car that didn't work at all anymore, didn't run or anything, and they still got a few bucks out of it because the whatever township or municipality that bought it used the old vehicle for parts. So Len, I don't know what kind of truck you got, but that might be something to consider to getting rid of the truck as well too. Not really legal advice, more experience I've had recently with that. So
okay, then yeah, there's nothing that we need to do. I mean, we can look, we just obviously can't buy, but you're gonna need to probably get some resolutions put together then for when we are ready to buy.
Yeah.
We have to borrow, who's can sign the title for the old one and the new one, et cetera, et cetera. So just kind of have those in your back pocket. So
yeah, I can have that ready to go. Eva, just text me who your bank is, because it's been a little while since I've had to do the resolution for municipal lending, but I'm pretty sure I need the bank info in the resolution itself.
Yeah,
so
and I touched base with them, and they said not a problem lending us the money.
Okay.
Who did you touch with? Somerset Trust?
Yeah, whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Is that who it is? That's what I thought. Somerset Trust. Okay.
Manager's changed.
Yeah,
Used to be that.
she told me the name and I wrote it down.
Yeah.
She told me her name and I jotted it down. Or probably
Yeah, the other little girl
whatever
went
I had
to, the other young lady, I think, went to SB2, I think I told you.
Okay, you guys are good with that then, that we're gonna probably actively pursue a truck?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Because she's gonna need something.
yeah,
Bicycle.
okay. Okay, then, anything else under the solicitor's report?
No, that's it. As far as I know, you know, that Neva, you could speak on it in terms of collections, but it's been pretty quiet, at least on my end with that. So
Yeah, my billing just went out, so I've been getting ready for this meeting, so I'll have to go over the aging report and then I'll get to you, Tim.
okay.
If there's anything major, I mean, if it's not a huge amount, like those huge amounts got settled.
Yep.
So it's more or less just my teeny ones that I go after.
Something I was actually thinking about, you know, it's been, I think this is year 5 or 6 that I've been with the authority. The board back then kind of decided that $500 would be their threshold in terms of pursuing a municipal claim against the property.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was still the threshold this group wants to continue to use for that.
I prefer 300 because $50 occurs pretty quickly.
Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you know you can tack attorney's fees and all that stuff and cost and everything onto it, but you know if you get that back, you can never really guarantee that. That was part of the discussion. I want to say that was 5 years ago. To be honest with you, I don't remember it.
That was when we
Maybe even
first.
longer than 5 years.
Yeah. Now we filed a series of claims and letters and whatnot. Probably I don't know, dozens at this point. I couldn't tell. I actually have the list. I don't have it open at the moment, but
And, yeah, maybe, you guys like 300?
I mean, that
300 and
seems
or 6
logical.
months? For example, if somebody is a larger user, then maybe,
Yeah.
you know, 3 months would get them to.
Because I find that if they're too far in, they like give up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
they
oh,
feel
I don't
like
know
they
where to
can't dig
start.
themselves out.
Yeah.
I can rephrase my letter too. I mean, you know, frankly, the letter's somewhat blunt because it just covers legally what
Yeah.
you know that was required by the authority in order to file a claim. So just so everyone knows, I know we have some new members. I'll go through this briefly, but when you begin the process of filing a lien or a municipal claim, you have to send notice to the property owner initially via certified mail. Most times that letter gets claimed, sometimes it doesn't, but you have to have service of that letter to prove to the court before that claim can actually be filed. So the letter I have, I can send one to the group as an example, but it's pretty cut and dry and bare bones, so to speak, with the legalese of it. You know, I could add a paragraph about what the, you know, reach, well, it does say contact NEVA, but maybe add a little language to say that, I don't know, I don't want to speak on everyone's behalf, but that you'd be willing to work with somebody or do whatever you need to try and get that, you know, I'm paraphrasing,
We do.
obviously.
I mean, that goes without saying. We
Yeah,
do.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have payment plans and obviously that money's sort of out there still, so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
think-
you quite honestly, you guys give them every chance that you possibly can too. So it's up to
Yeah, I mean, by the
whatever
time
you want to
you
do. But
receive that letter and they actually, you get to file it, it's probably been several months. And they're
Yeah.
that much more behind, so.
and usually too, I get the letter out, and then we have another meeting between that point too to determine if we're actually going to file the lien itself. So,
Okay.
you know, I don't do that until I get the go ahead from all of you. So,
See that where everybody is good with that? Everybody's shaking their head, yeah,
Yeah.
so.
okay.
300.
300, Tim.
Okay, sounds good. Not trying to create additional work for myself, but I thought that might be something to discuss because it's been quite some time since we've circled back around on that. Okay.
And I think with the rate going up, you know, it's,
Yeah, plus I think with the current financial climate. There's probably gonna be a lot more people, you know, not defaulting on house loans and so forth too.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead to operations report then. There's nothing more in the solicitor's report.
That's it for me.
Let's just go through the whole operations report, then circle back to the contract.
Okay.
Sound like a good plan?
Yeah.
Okay, NEVA operations on your end.
I have just had normal monthly billing operations, a few phone calls. There is a request for a dye test, Glenn. It's time to do a collection, so I'm going to be working on that. I always wait until after my billing so I know what I've gotten in, you know. I like to make sure because lo and behold, I send somebody a letter and they get upset. They get freaked out. They do. Why would you do that? I didn't know it. But so anyway, I'm going to be working on those. And we've had a lot of 811 calls, 29, I think, to be exact. And I'll be on vacation for the next meeting, but I'll just get the paperwork ready and I'll lay it here. You know how to distribute it, Carol. Is that okay with you?
Well, yeah, the next meeting could be special.
Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to make arrangements with Vanessa and see if I can meet her up at the bank Friday because I'm off on Friday. So I'll see if she's available. I don't know when for sure when she's available. Those banking hours are hard to get in. But maybe I can get her. I don't know if she's back at school yet. Do you know? Is she back at school yet? At the school, yeah. Did those people start back?
Was she?
back.
I know, so I wonder if Vanessa is. Did that pre-K start yet?
Taylor went back. She's back with
Oh,
the-
Taylor went back?
Yeah.
Well, then Vanessa did too on that.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Taylor was in today. She went back.
Okay, so I'll have to see if I can get Vanessa to skip an hour. Maybe they could do it on a Friday. They're open till 6. I don't know. Well, anyway, that's the plan. Get with her to get her check signed because Carol's going to be traveling and I need to sign her and stuff. And or with a fun travel or something. If I go on vacation or something. And that's pretty much it for me. I don't really have anything. This is just been a month since I've been here, so.
No, I don't have a key.
The key thing, that was an issue. I forgot to put that on
You
there.
got a key for this office?
Yeah, the people, so did you leave the other one?
It's hanging right there. I just stuck it there and then you guys
I
will
was
find
gonna
a
inquire about that, but
permanent home for that one.
you got us the key to, because
Yeah,
we can get our
the
own
key for over
chairs
at
and
the-
stuff. You know, we have stuff down in the basement. And maybe Carol and I discussed that we'll see about getting one of our, if Ed has any of our locking file cabinets down there, because if the mayor's using this for his ordinance issues, I don't know if he's bringing somebody in here. I've checked in
Well, I
here,
said, you know, our,
our files.
Yeah,
in
this
there.
is still the.
Yeah, I don't know.
These don't lock and probably we should have, and that doesn't lock. So there was a horizontal cabinet over there that I know locked.
They still there?
There's one there for sure, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we only
At
need
least one
one.
we know the
you know.
lock. So I think we're gonna maybe try to get that over here
We
too.
could try to get it.
And
over
maybe
here.
just
This is the other type that I was going with.
the horizontal, yeah.
Yeah, that was the only, that's the only one that, locks, I think.
Yeah.
Now the water company had some locking ones, but I bet you Ed left those there for the school to use. But they may still be there and nobody
Yeah,
using them.
we'll find out.
Yeah.
We got some more down in there, but we give away a lot.
Yeah, that one of the locking ones, those are the ones that belong to the water company.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they're
were
very
from
about
the
that.
water company. And I'm sure we have some of these chairs and stuff we
I've been
should.
in and out of there, but we found
Oh, I
it.
see.
I know.
So,
we got chairs.
Now, where the key is for it, that could be another question. Let's see.
Keys are in the, I think all the keys we had in our little, lock box, that's where our titles are at too.
Okay. That would be-
Trucks.
Okay. All right, anything else on Neva's side, questions? Okay, Len, we'll go through your stuff, and then like I said, then we'll do the contract.
No, I'm not sure exactly what we. I guess on the 7th, we will see it actually. The biggest thing that's going on, we did get met with Bill and we got this up, we got his on hold. That was back up. Also, if I got his money up here, I was worried about not, I told you, he wanted to do it.
Steamer, yeah, there is a, yeah.
That's done.
It's good.
Oh, that's done, okay. Lamp post is done.
I'm not sure about the monoxide guy when he's going to come back because if he does come back, he wants me to have enough line brought to run out where the buildings can get back to straight. I want to go around that corner. But every time, this time, really, because of that ditch,
Oh, that's nice and soft in there.
I can really get them out of it. Yeah. So we had a hell of a time with that.
You're
But we
talking about
got-
number one there.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that at number one.
yeah, number one. But we got him in this time. Ready, because I'm gonna tell the boss, that, you know, I want to get back in here. And I don't know, I was gonna ask somebody, but I don't think Laura would know. Is that street shut down? Why the hell they ever shut that street down? When I was in the station down there? I know it's, nobody's using it, it's all grass.
If I remember correctly, in Newport, it's still a paper street and they never closed their paper
The
street.
utility street, yeah. They're
So,
not closed.
so it is open, but that would cost a fortune for us to run.
They don't maintain the utility.
I
street.
got one other number for a guy, and he can eat places. And I gotta get, figuring out, I gotta get a copy of what, how much. Did you find out how much it was gallon and all
Yeah,
that? Okay, here's the-
Carol has.
I got another guy that's going to need some places. However, he'll want to come in and all.
It
You're still
is,
South Chemical.
I'm still, yeah,
Wow.
because the other place that we used forever, I mean.
303 a gallon,
there's,
yeah.
And that's delivered.
Yep,
Delivered or their delivery charge on top of that.
they don't have it listed as a delivery charge. I think she said
I think we
that.
started out at some reason 235.
Yeah,
That's
well,
not bad.
everything else is going up, so.
It didn't really go up that much.
No, there's no delivery charge.
And I'm not sure that,
Prices are down, if I won't go down either, but
I'm
yeah.
not sure that the new guy can beat this neither. Because I didn't know what the price was. Oh, I get that.
Yeah, it's not on here. I had to call her to get it. 'Cause it's not on the bill, the price per gallon. It's through, I had to call her.
Figure that out, because they're charging us £5.
Yeah, the girl in the office just looked at the invoice. She said, oh, you're 303 a gallon. How much do you want to know? I said, I want to know about 950 gallons. She said, okay, we'll multiply.
So is it like a gallon of water, like 8.17 pounds per gallon? I don't know.
I'm not sure
I don't
exactly
know
what
what
it
the weight of it
does.
is. Does it weigh more than water or less than water? I don't know.
I think it's probably about the salt.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's probably a little
Weight
bit
was
like-
net
Yeah,
weight,
your weight was weighing.
Yeah.
Never mind.
32,000.
I'm going off.
Net weight, 32,000 it says for that total.
Why is that closer to that?
Yeah, I don't understand how they do that. I like the way the old people do it.
I can't get older than I don't know. But anyway,
Okay.
so we're good for a little while. I'll try to get that straightened up, so there's something going on.
Okay.
What he wants me to do is buy enough of the hose.
Sorry,
we
Tim.
use, 1.5 hose. The same type that I can run it from the tank out to the corner where you don't have to try to get around it. I don't really blame him.
How much the hose cost?
I don't know, we'll check.
Yeah, next time you're,
I'll get the price
Thinking
from this
about it.
other guy, see how he's gonna do it. Maybe this guy's going down a little bit, you know, I don't know.
okay.
But anyway, that's that. Oh, what else? Of course, the other night, I spent most of the night down here and most of yesterday morning. We had over places I didn't see over there. So we had a bunch of cleanups to do and
Depends on where it fell. It was anywhere from 4 to
Yeah,
8 inches.
8 inches. Yeah,
well, I mean, the water company, I mean, I've seen everybody out that night. Knew that was gonna
And
happen.
you would have done your report.
I did my verbal.
yeah, it was
I got
8
10 days
inches.
to the other one.
That's unbelievable. Usually they,
Then I got to clean up and then I got the line and stuff. I did get all around to use the last one.
it was wild. back from never stopped all night long. And there's basements that flooded that I know never flooded before.
And then, at number 2, we got a pump out with a seal. We pulled it out. It started to rain, and I know a little bit about it. I've been doing it for years. Was watching and it had water in it. So we got a seal out at least. But the pump wasn't burned up. But I see some cavitation on the impeller. So they're gonna give me a quote on all of them. It seems worse, but when they start to come apart, it's being not long as a big but they said that that's the only thing that might be more trouble making.
At some point, probably once we get maybe a few more dollars better with this increase, probably maybe gonna start replacing those, because we're coming on 20 years with those. 2024 will be 20 years they've been in service, so.
The pump?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're just so expensive. Remember we talked about that
yeah,
before?
but maybe we might want to start putting a capital reserve account just for pump.
They're
And then-
like, yeah.
And then the generators, I called him again the other day, and they never called me back again. So I guess I'm gonna have to go with the other guy and get the oil changed and stuff like that. And I'll go ahead and do the batteries because they were so expensive off them last time. I'll get them through my shop and see what we did. Either credit card, please.
Yeah,
I think.
check them.
But, so, I'll get that part of it done, but the oil and filter, I'm sure I could do it, but I'd have to figure out how much it takes, But then we're losing the part of them testing for water,
Yeah.
or losing, I can't test the end, we don't have the tools to do that. I think it'd be better if we could attempt to do it.
Yeah.
The only reason I was waiting for them people down there is because I wanted to have it changed. You know, that one pumps on, one of those 2 cents an hour.
Do they just not answer or something? What is this?
I called him, the guy said, I don't know what's wrong. He said, I don't know what's wrong. I said, I'll call the guy, and he said, I'll have him call you later.
Okay.
I think basically,
So you're gonna check with another guy?
probably gonna have to.
Do you want me to write that down that you're gonna?
Oh, you can do that one.
Okay, anything else?
No, not, nothing that's urgent.
Okay, do you guys, outside of contract, have any questions for them? You do? No? Okay, then let's go ahead and talk about contracts. Did you get copies, Tim?
I did
He
not.
He didn't. You wanna
No.
scan them to him now or something?
We'll just make sure you do, because we're not gonna finalize, I don't think tonight, we might, I don't know. Yeah, you should have them, I mean, it's
Yeah,
a
'cause I
contract,
won't
to
be here
contract.
next month, so.
Yeah, contract to contract, so maybe what we can do is, if we approve them tonight,
I'll scan them to him.
pending your blessing.
Oh, yeah, we could do that. I can't do that.
That's no problem for me.
Okay. Yeah, you should see these, I mean, basically all they're doing is saying what they're going to do and for how much. It's pretty much the same as what we had before from both of them.
As I said, one of the first things I ever did was review contract for Neva and Lenny.
Yeah.
Again, probably 5 years ago. So
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of changes other than maybe just some numbers and a little bit of language.
okay.
So, but we probably want to add language, since we are carrying comp on them, that says as much. Does that make sense?
Yep. Put that in my notes here.
All right, which one do you want to, they're kind of overlapped, so you want to kind of do them at the same time, but we'll start with who I have on this side. This is me. I have you on the left and Lenny on
I
the
have
right.
some of the extra ones from last month, if anyone doesn't have those.
Yeah, because they kind of both overlap. So let's start with Neva's. And then if it's something that overlaps to Lenny's, we can jump over there and then back. Unless we do have some overlap. Okay, so let's start with Neva. What's first on the regular duties? Now, what we, if you were already at 1,200?
Well, I've been paying, I took off my, what do you want? This?
Check.
Oh, yeah. I took off my 1,000. I took off the, 200 for the, does anyone else need a copy of these? Y'all got yours?
For,
That one's yours.
you took off what, I'm sorry?
I took off for the rental of the office.
Oh, okay, okay.
See,
Before there was 200 for the
Yeah.
office. Okay.
yeah,
So now, so before you were 200 for the office, 1,200 for the work.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have the office. So
right, so I had been taking that off.
You have been all
I
along.
have been all along.
Can you turn the air on? Cat died.
I'm,
She's freezing, but
I'm
I'm dying.
you know, it's okay. I
was stuck all day in the restaurant, but I'm finally
how about
calmed
love?
down.
Will that work?
However you want to do it.
It gets pretty cold.
I
Hard
just,
to believe
I
it.
had a restaurant in Newport, helping Connie out, yeah. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing now. I'm
Okay.
confused.
So under her regular duty, it's 1,200, that is not changing.
And that's based, I'll tell you what I based that on, like last time, but $15 an hour, and I average $15 to $20, or 15 to 20 hours at $15 an hour. That's what I based it on. So that's my average work time. So that comes to like 1,200. So I don't have the office rental no more, so that's not on there. So that's different. And then,
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. And then, my collection is, well, you can read it. You don't have to read it. I don't think I need to tell you. It pretty well covers everything I do. And that is what I do. So if you have any questions of what I do,
I do.
okay.
Several of these things on your list are pretty redundant, like billing
Mhm.
and paying invoices and the letter writing and the monthly billing. Aren't those pretty much the same thing?
No, the billing is the monthly invoices that I send to the customers,
I mean,
like the yellow card.
That's still-
That's
Okay.
billing.
Running
Like
the
I'm gonna
software,
do running the
printing the
software,
cards, and then
printing the
putting them
card,
up.
and then you've got to open up all the customers' envelopes. You got to go over all the ACH payments. You got to do those separate. You got to do the ones that the bank collects separate. Those are a whole nother process. You got to put the doubles in the envelopes, put the stamps on it. Every single thing has to be stamped. It takes about 12 hours. We do estimate 12 to 15 hours for
Yeah,
that
and we
alone.
use an old dot matrix printer.
Yeah,
so
we
it
print
takes-
the
They
labels.
run.
That takes me
Does it
about,
need them anymore?
yes, that
time of
takes
year
about
you
3
use?
hours.
Yeah,
Because
I used to like
when
that
it
baby.
overheats to run
You
them
you
alone.
literally hear, it's funny because you can hear the change, like I wouldn't even go to the bathroom. Because if you miss it, you gotta rerun
Exactly.
the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't
But
do it
then-
either, trust me.
Then you have to tear them all apart and tear the sides
You gotta
off.
tear
and
the
like,
sides
you can
out. It's a
Split them out.
whole, then you've got to pull all the doubles out. So now you're going through 500 cards once. Then you pull your doubles out. It's a process. It's a long process. And then you gotta put the doubles in their own envelope. Then you gotta make a label to put on that one. Then you've gotta put the stamp on those, and then you gotta stamp full part on your yellow cards and stamp. That's what I mean by billing.
Okay, so you can say that takes about 12 hours to do all.
12 to 15 hours, maybe longer, it
And that's
depends.
the processing too, which means
It's a-
hand stamping every check,
Hand stamp,
writing up by hand the deposit slip.
you gotta check some
open them,
bills against your program. You gotta,
And then enter.
yeah, all that. The entering takes me, that was just doing the bills. The entering takes me about 10 hours, maybe. Probably a good 10 hours.
Yeah, for example, we had 4,500 customers. We had 2 people
Just doing that.
doing that work. So, and that was probably, Louise was half-time, Rose probably did the half-time, Dean did the full-time, and that included, and then that left Rose for the length of stuff. Okay.
So then when you're doing the, like paying the invoices and the contractors, that's all like what Carol is signing over there. That's all you've got to match the bill with the invoice and the amount that's being paid, you've got to check to make sure that's all right. Make sure everything matches what you're paying.
And you have under, after you do the deposit slip and the deposit goes in, then you enter it in QuickBooks for that
Yeah.
deposit. So,
Correct.
yeah.
So all that has to be, that's a whole nother part of the job, in other words.
Okay, you say letter writing, what kind of letters?
Like when I have to write letters to the customers, or like I had to write the letter to the CZAC or Seward, those are all separate letter writing.
You
Like,
do that often?
Customer correspondence.
it depends, like I have to write letters, if I have to write a letter to DEP or to, solicitor, or, like, I don't know, any correspondence, you know, anything that needs to be, there's, I think I'm the only one to do
I
it.
don't think there's a
so.
whole lot all the time, but when you get to
Yeah, it's just, you know, sometimes you do, and sometimes you can be, you know, because you want to make sure everything is included in, you know, whatever the solicitor says, or whatever Carol tells me to include. So she told me everything I needed to include in the EDU letter, or, like the amounts and all that.
The meeting with customers, communicating with customers, and talking to them on the phone, is that all, that should be all the same too?
It's, when I meet with the customers, it's, they want to come down and make arrangements to pay their bills. So they want to talk to you about, or they want to say, you know, you're meeting with them to try to explain, to print out what they've paid and explain to them line for line on the printout what is going on with their bill. Where did you miss paying? Then you show them. I'm sure you've done this in the past too, Carol. Have you done this? You know, you have to show them what it means.
you come out of history sometimes.
I mean, unfortunately, they don't know how to read a report, you know, or a history report. So we have a lot of elderly customers in town. So you really have to, they don't want to see it. They want you to show them line for line and stuff. So meeting with them for that, or like when I met with a couple of them for the new program, things like that. Then I meet with, you know, real estate agents. I talk with them. I return their calls. Customer calls. Customers call every month, about probably 40 to 50 customers.
Yeah.
And it may be redundant what you're explaining to them, but you've got to do it all over again. Even though you might have told them 2 months ago, you got to tell them all over again.
How often do we have an audit?
We have an audit this time twice this year, but normally once a year.
Now, do they do, we audit everything, or is it just, they're,
He's pretty thorough. Yeah, I have to meet with him. When we do an audit, I have to meet with the auditor like 4 times. We have to copy fouls. Yeah,
here?
he does, yes. And I'm fortunate that way, the bird, he must go to him. But he's pretty good with
And
us.
he made the water company. She was lost and send again, but he always
Isn't that
came up for us.
I know. He comes and like, also like if I have something going on with QuickBooks, he like say they updated QuickBooks and I don't understand what to do. I call him, he'll come meet with me and show me exactly what to do or how to manage that, you know.
Still him running,
Yes, Tim,
pretty good guy.
he is, but he's getting pretty old, Carol. I wonder how
Yeah.
much longer it's gonna be
Yeah,
with
he's
him.
very well.
Those things will change probably,
I
I'm
know when
sure.
Latrobe, as big as they are, and they
Mhm,
were having some issues, they actually brought him in as like a forensic auditor. He was
mhm.
like the #1 recommended by the state, whoever it was.
Yeah. He knows his stuff, trust me. And then I have to do a letter for him.
Mhm.
And then I have to do a letter for his assistant. And then I have to get the 1099 paperwork ready and do a letter with it. So there's
There's a
couple
lot of-
more letters.
Paperwork too, after, remember Arthur Anderson and Ron?
Yeah.
The entire, Arthur Anderson, got blamed for Enron, failed. Arthur Anderson said, hey, we were only as good as the information you gave us. What they didn't give us, we didn't know. So the accounting companies came back with all of these, before they ever come in, you have to say, I swear I am giving you everything that is available, and we're not hiding anything from you, we're not running two sets of books, blah, blah, blah. So it jumped probably back in the day to a lot more than, because now they even do, well, I guess he always did, Tim always did, like an exit interview he did with Jaylene.
Yeah, he does.
Meet with her and go over
Yeah.
everything, if he had any
Yeah,
concerns,
yeah,
he would
yeah.
show right then and there, he said, here is my concern with this, with this, and that.
We try to do it when he's here and he
Yeah.
brings my boss back. That's like, I'll call you and say, hey, or can you come down at that point, you know, or I make an appointment. So he'll call me and then I call him back and then we have to make an appointment. So we have about maybe 4 of those to go through to get to the point where we're ready to get the exit.
It just doesn't have to be me, for me, maybe a chairman, or vice chairman, it can be anybody. The treasurer probably should be here.
The things that are not included in the monthly fee, side testing paperwork, what does that involve? How long does that take and how often do you have to do that?
You have to do it every day.
So every time there's someone that, like this side test you're going on,
Mhm. Every time.
so if you have none, then it's, you know what I mean? Like if you have none during the month, then you have none.
That's why I don't include it in.
Yeah. And I was asking,
Yeah.
because I was just,
Because I don't include it in because, you know, it goes by piecework. That one you can tell, you know, what you're gonna have. I can't tell,
yeah.
you know, some other stuff that's hard to say.
I actually kind of missed a piece of that when we had a conversation. I've been having conversations with folks. I kind of missed a piece. The way it's working right now is Len and Neva gets a request for a die test and a no lien letter, which is included in that, which comes from the,
So I have to do the no lien letter off.
so she gets that and they schedule, and there's, you know, right now, might be changing with the schedule, but a die test gets scheduled and they both go out. So they each get, we charge the customer $100, right?
For the die,
Yeah, the die test. He gets 50, she gets 50. Len does,
the wash.
yeah, they both do the die test. Len fills out the form with what they passed.
I go on
He
the
hands that
die
off to
test
her.
too, though.
Yeah, you're there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It takes, because it takes 2 people.
Right, yeah, I catch the
And then
dot.
she has to still come back with the no lien letter and the paperwork, and she has to go in and make sure
I have to give a copy
how
for the
much
customer.
they owe.
And I have to do that with the
If
program.
this isn't gonna close, like, hey, closing company, when's it closing? Because if it's not gonna close, if right now it's October, it's not closing until December, she needs to add 2 more months onto that, because they're gonna have it paid
They'll
off.
take that out of the closing, so I have to make sure they have that set aside. If they don't take it out, then it's our fault, we lose it.
Yeah, if somebody
You know what I
who,
mean?
has a lien, and she's gonna see what the payoff is and calculate that, and
And then I contact Tim too.
yeah,
about
because
that.
that's the
Right,
one
Tim,
part.
don't I contact you about that?
And I don't
if there's
know
a
what
lien?
percentage, because. when we
Yes,
filed
you
the
do
lien,
when there's sales.
I owed $500, and the lien was filed, he did the lien for 500, but that was 3 years ago, so now I owe another, there's a lien for 500.
So you
but-
probably didn't pay all that 3 years ago
No,
either. You know
Plus,
what I mean?
I owe another 200, plus I now, Tim has to remove the lien, so that's like 100, but there's also in there interest, is it like 1%? It accrues interest twice a
Yeah.
year. So
Here, I'll pull one up.
That out,
Give me a minute, I'll tell you.
what the interest, I don't remember what yours.
I don't remember off the top of my head either, so just give me a minute. I got a remote into my other.
So there's a
That
lot
works,
to into that letter before, because if it's not correct, by the time it gets to the, because she's got several hours, that's why, you know, she's saying, I'll still do it for 40, so basically she was only charging $10 to go on this side.
Well, you said they each get 50, so you're lowering yours to 40.
And she's
I'm not gonna go. I don't wanna
That
do
was kind of a,
that. he can do that. He has an issue with scheduling, Lynn does. He
Oh,
can do
okay.
that himself. I'll just do the paperwork for 40. He can get his own person to catch the guy.
And then he did 60 or he did 50.
50.
Or he would, well, if he's gonna have to, it's a two-person job. So, because
He wants to
can't
take his
splice
own
something,
person,
so,
pick his own
yeah,
person,
so
so he can pick
he
his own.
needs to, if she's not gonna go with him, he's gonna schedule it himself. And that's why I said we've got some overlap here.
That's what she meant by the overlap.
Yeah, no, and he's saying,
10% per annum.
10%.
Wow, 10%. I didn't realize
Yeah.
it was that much, Tim.
That's under the statute, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, there's some, so anyway, so, yeah, so Lynn's saying, I jumped to his, this one, his, what, third page? Fourth page, that's when Lynn. So he's saying each die test performed will receive complete compliance delivered to office. So he's gonna still do the paper, give it to her. The charge will be 50, and then again, if he has to go back out a second time or third time or a fourth time, he charges him 25, he gets that 25 too. So every time he goes back, it's 25. And that goes in, that's his, because he's the one doing it. You know, here he's saying the board will provide and pay a helper. No, did I read that you wanted to?
That was my next question. When he has a helper, how does he get paid? How does the helper get paid?
Well, that's what we're gonna have to figure out here now. So he was saying that, hey, if you don't wanna work with me to do this, then I wanna, and you wanna, where did I read? I wrote it down.
It's right under here after that.
Yeah, but didn't you say something about scheduling it though, Lynn? Where did I read that?
Yeah, I want to schedule it myself because I got my own business too to run.
Oh, here it is, right here.
On certain days, so.
It's
Oh,
the
I
bullet.
missed it.
It's the bullet on the first.
Oh.
It's the second bullet on the first page. I knew I made a note.
You know, it's under
So-
my first page off, because I'm retarded.
If you. So this is, okay, so this is where we have an overlap, but we've got to work this out. So if, so that, right now, we're charging the customer $100. If you bring a helper, what do you want for that helper?
Well, I know for the open the system and stuff, you got a guy for $15 a month. So I'd say I'm gonna pay $15.
So what's that typical die test?
50 times. I'm doing it. By the time I leave my garage, come down here, do it, get back to the garage, I got at least.
So we're looking $20 to $30.
And that's the cost that is might want to figure on putting, you know, into what we charge to do it.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. If we have to increase, so let's say Jim Smith is your helper. We're gonna have an invoice from Jim Smith that says, or you're gonna give us a payroll slip. It says Jim Smith on June 1st from 7 to 9 p.m. die test at Steve's house. Steve Smith, you know, whatever. And then we'll pay him that amount. But then, like I said, we're gonna need to probably increase.
What to send him a 1099 then?
Yeah, which is gonna be probably the same person.
Hopefully, I mean, I just need somebody that can work in my schedule, so you're working on everybody else.
Okay, so let's get this worked out. So,
Maybe.
can we, it was gonna cost us another $50 a year for just that person to be, so,
It depends on how many hours. Remember I told you, I called the FWF and it.
So
they
50
told
to
me it
100
depends on
maybe
How many
for-
hours?
yeah. So we don't want 6 different people doing this, because whoever it is has to be on our comp.
Yeah, you don't want to be
So
doing
it is
1099.
the same person, which I don't wanna, we're on live, so I'm not gonna mention who it is. But the same person that's gonna help you open the system, it needs to be the same person. Will that work out?
Yeah, because you retired and
Okay,
you go whenever I go.
okay, so so we have $10, so it's up to 60. But we'll probably need another 10 to 20. Or can you do it for, both of you do it for 60? You're going back out for 25. Speak now or forever hold your peace, because we need to
Now,
work this through.
I'm gonna say, by the time I leave my business and come down here and get back, I've got 2 to 3 hours, so we're gonna pay them $15 an hour.
Well, you said before it was an hour and a half, so I was gonna just go into 2.
Okay?
So,
On the safe street, if you wanna do it that way, that's what it's gonna be. If I wanna do it that way, that's fine.
well,
If you want to do 125, I would charge customer 125.
and then if this one's only an hour and a half, we're gonna pay them the hour and a half. If this one's 2 hours, we'll pay them 2.5, and hopefully it's a wash. Okay. Because we need to keep that person's hours specific to what we're doing, because we don't want to get in trouble with our insurance company.
Yeah.
So we need, every month that he's done something, we want a payroll slip that
Same
says,
as I give.
date.
Tell you what I do every month.
that's fine. So, but we want actual written down on their times, dates, and who's. So she can match that, reconcile that back to the paperwork. So it's all clear.
Well, SWF requires it.
Yes. Yeah, so we gotta make sure we
So
reconcile
you're
that.
gonna make up the form the way you want it, and I just go
Yeah,
out
we'll just do,
and
yeah,
hand it in just like I do everything else?
Yeah.
That's fine.
and then she'll pay him and cut him a check. Yeah, we'll put, we probably have one already made up in the system, because I think that's what I use. So, so we will then have to come back, if we're gonna do that, increase our dye test cost to 125 going forward.
We're gonna have to figure that out.
So
Do we need a
we will do a
resolution for
motion.
that? I think we have.
I think we just have a motion, don't we? Jim, or
Yeah,
do we need-
a motion would suffice.
Okay, we'll do that when we're all done with this, because we might have some other ones. So dye test will increase to 125. Len's gonna stay at 50. And then Neva will be 40, and then anything, whoever the person is, who's assisting, your assistant will call them, will be paid per hour, $50 an hour. Sound fair?
And I expect to do-
So, so Neva, when she gets the letter, she'll give you a contact phone number.
Why, a lot of times I get phone calls.
Yeah, or
I don't
whatever,
think
but
it
she'll give you the contact and then the dye test part, and then you just have to make sure she knows when it's done. And the paperwork's in.
Why did you?
It's just she needs to deck that out.
Oh.
Boy, yeah.
We got that for the video. So we can. There we go.
Okay, so looks like dye tests for both are good, correct? You're cool? You're good? Dye test part, okay. So we've got Neva done down there, we have the dye test, now 811 call. And those overlap. So,
Okay, I have a question. 811 calls, those are the ones that they call in about.
one call, they're gonna call before you dig.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
what I was.
Yeah, an 811 is called before you dig. So before anybody digs, they have to do an 811 call. Right now, you're receiving them as an email?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Len, because occasionally you need help for that, but you pay that out of your own pocket right
I
now?
always take it there, yeah, but I'm not going to anymore.
Well, what does Neva do with when she gets the notice? What does she do?
Right
I
now,
copy and paste it and make print it, and then I copy and paste it and send it to Lenny, and then I wait for him to answer it, and I go back, log back into the site, the 811 site, and then you answer accordingly to what he tells me he found out.
just have a question. Is that the one that goes like whenever money's phone goes off whenever I'm waiting on them? Is that the 811 call, like the one that, is that what those are? Linda?
Yeah, they
So he just has a weird ring.
Well, I meant, is that the one that, is that the one we were discussing before with, that you had to have a number that would just be, that he,
Yeah, that's
About
the
the
one that we
number.
talked about a couple of years ago, that it would come to me. That's where it should come. I'm the guy that does.
I didn't know if that's what it was called.
I mean,
Is that what it's called? Is that?
I don't care, I just don't do the paperwork. That's
Yeah.
all.
I
It
Okay.
makes no difference to me.
So, now here's the only thing,
I don't need it.
I can
I'm
work
perfectly
like,
fine.
I was just asking you,
I'm just telling you.
I'm just telling you,
Right
I'm just asking you. I'm not starting to fight, I'm just asking you if that's what it was. Cause I don't get them. I don't,
You
so,
wouldn't. No,
no.
it's just
The only thing that comes to me just as a double check is emergency, because they charge us too, that's the other
see,
thing.
that's
Every
a
place we
fee,
go,
that's
they
why
charge.
I don't like
So-
to do, like, the more.
well, no,
people
I don't
it,
want
we
them,
have
I don't
to
want them, but I was asking to understand what it was. I wasn't asking to start
No,
whatever, I just was asking.
well, we
like,
need to
I
start whatever.
didn't know what it was.
So we need to start whatever.
Well, no, I
Yeah.
just meant, I'm not starting to fight over it, I didn't know what it was.
So, the only thing I can say, and Len and I had this discussion, Nina and I had this discussion. When an 811 call comes in, and let's say it's the gas company right now, which the gas company is big, if they tear through our line and our line is not marked, we eat that cost. If
You
they-
also get fined too for that. It's a whole process with that.
And let's say this is the pipe, when that guy with the excavator digging and he cares, he just doesn't break this piece of pipe. He can yank the 20-foot section out down there and he rents the 20-foot. If it's hooked to a manhole, he can damage the manhole. I mean, there could be a whole lot of ramifications and we have to define. So where we came from, and you gotta remember, we were all Dairy Township, plus New Alexandria Borough and Latrobe. I mean, we were big. But we always had two people. That was there before I got down there, but there was a girl in the office that did what Neva's doing. She printed it out, and they had an inbox, and several times a day, the guys would come in the inbox, get it, take it, go on market, and then they would come in and initial it, date and time that they did it, and then put it in her inbox, and then she would go on the computer like Neva's doing now. And that's kind of what they're doing, we're just not doing pen paperwork, they were doing. And it was two people always checking. So if there was one, when she went in to look at it, during when COVID happened, I took that duty over because our personnel was all messed up with working from home. So I said, well, I'll take over the 911 calls. And then I found out after that it gave me a better handle of what was going on in the community, and I knew where things were working. And if there was a big job like the gas company happening, then I knew that I needed to assign one guy to be with them all the time. So it always worked well, but I liked having two people. It just gave you a double check. And again, either me or if it was Denise at the time, when she's putting them in at the end of the day, and she always at the end of the day, when they were coming in to punch out, she'd say, hey, I have one due, and you guys haven't due it to me. Oh, shoot, I left that paper in the truck. There was always two sets of eyes on it. So I don't know. I don't have a problem with Len doing it. I don't have a problem with him going to him. I don't have a problem with doing it. Even if she's fine with it. It talked me out of the fact that I only need two sets of eyes. Is there a better way that you guys can think of that we're at least double checking that? You know what I'm saying? I feel we need to have at least, like right now, we have two sets of eyes on every one.
It's this way, I don't care what you pay her to do. I want it to come to my phone. She can answer the way she's been. I just want it to come to my phone. I'm the guy that's responsible.
Well, we can do that. They can do both. There's no reason why it can't.
Well, yeah, that's what I've been trying to do for 2 years.
Wow.
You
I mean,
told me
I don't
that
know
2 years
how to
ago.
do it.
Well, that's neat. We can do that. We
I
can call
have
the person
no
and we'll
idea
set it up.
how to do that.
Yeah, we can do that. So do you want to mark them off though? Because you'll have to do it through a Carl system on your phone, like calling in, right?
Right, and I know they're marked. I'm not saying she is marked them, but I know.
I don't know, whatever.
But then,
I don't really care.
okay, so, and that's fine, but do we want the second set of eyes where she's still checking them at least? And maybe it's just $5 a month or somebody needs, I don't know. Do we
I just know we're
do we
spending
feel we
a
need
pile
to,
of money on 811 calls. You get that thing about don't ask for anything.
who's shipping at you for doing that?
There's two posts that here, don't ask for any raise.
No, we said it all.
Yes,
So we
you
were-
did.
No, I didn't. I said we would be reasonable with you. We understand,
Okay.
but you have to understand where we are. I never said anything about giving about money, Lynn.
Okay.
This is you know, if you're not sure, go back and look on YouTube because it's on there. I take offense to that because that's not what
Well-
I said. I said, we're all professionals here and we were trying to work with you, but you have to remember to work with us.
How about if I don't do them at all?
Then who's gonna do them? So we're gonna have to hire somebody.
I'm 24/7 at $1,800 a month. You think you better start looking at what it costs to operate.
Let's say you're.
24/7. I'm the one that answers the calls. I'm the one that can't go on vacation unless I got somebody else. You're forgetting that?
I did it for 12 years, I understand.
Okay, then good. You know what I'm talking about.
But it's not just that, because you are getting compensated for other things. So,
Brother, things, right?
but you're getting paid. If you get a call out, you're getting paid for that.
How about you just pay me so much an hour for being on the phone 24/7? Even
I don't
$5
think this board
an
can
hour.
afford that. I'm the one
No, you're
person
right.
I can speak it for, but
I tried to work with you. Don't tell me I'm not trying to work with you.
who just said you're not trying to work? You're putting words in our mouth here. I am flabbergasted that you're putting words
Does
in my mouth.
anybody here remember Eva and her both speaking up and saying, don't ask for any more money?
I
never said
I
that.
know. I said the money was getting low. Yes, but.
And
Money
I
is
said,
always
I
money
said, we
is
will work with
getting
you, but
low.
understand where we are.
And we need
We
to
have
be
to work with us.
careful, we don't want to, what I said is, and you were on the board then, Teresa, when we took this over.
Oh,
And
absolutely,
our
but we had
account, what
nothing.
did I have to do?
Right.
I had to get the checks in to
Yeah.
pay the bills. I don't want to operate like that again. That is nerve wracking. We gotta have the money to pay the bills, so we don't want to overspend is all I was trying to tell the new board members to be aware of that.
So back to yours, letting you do the paperwork. It says here, if you complete the paperwork, it's $30 a call.
That's if I call it in.
What do you mean if you call it? What do you do?
It'll come to me, my phone, just like she gets it and sends it to me. And I go do the job, and then I gotta send it back to her for her to answer. I'm saying if I answer it myself, get it to my phone and answer it myself, I'll do it for the $30.
We pay $25 now, Sue.
Okay.
Now, I'm just asking one question, I don't want anybody.
No, this is what we need to
Okay,
work
well,
this out. You know?
Okay, so Len's getting paid, you're paying 25 now, but I didn't see it in here on yours. Do you get paid whenever? I get paid $15 for doing the
Okay,
paperwork, answering the call, logging on.
Okay.
That's what it is right
Okay.
now.
So then he's gonna be doing it for, if he did it, if he did it all himself, it'd be $30.
Like I said, I don't
care.
That's what he's saying, yeah.
Okay.
And I don't have a problem with that. It's just, again, my only concern is that we,
Need a second set of eyes.
and maybe we don't. I mean, we're small. Maybe we don't, you know, and maybe it's just,
We had 29 calls this
yeah.
payday, but 30
okay,
calls
how-
last. day.
how
I'm just
often,
saying,
I'm-
that's a rarity.
Well, that's
Remember
what
I
I'm saying,
told
like,
you
how
all that's a
often
rarity.
do we have, that we have to worry about? You know, what I mean, I don't know, because I don't do this stuff. I'm
Yeah,
on
what's
the
your
board to try to
typical-
help out, and I'm not trying to stir the shit pot.
What's your
But
typical,
what's the typical,
You mean without the gas?
yeah, like if they're not doing the projects like they're doing now, where they're digging up the
Okay, so it goes like climbing, more or
hole.
less.
Okay,
Okay, so I would say typically, and Carol can probably think of this too, I would say typically we're looking at 5 to 7
I
a
don't know, I haven't
month.
been
That
here for
might
100
even
years.
be high, but that's for like spring to fall. Winter, maybe 1 or 2, if you're lucky. So that's what you're looking at. Now, this is an extraordinary situation. This is different, you know, it's been a lot. It's been a hell of a lot to keep up with.
My mind and my truck. So,
Normally, I'd say through spring to fall, you maybe see 5 to 7
Tim,
a month.
is there something, you know, we're small, so maybe we don't need that second advisor, it's just that sits in my brain. But is there something let's say we just give it all to Len, is there something that he can do to, like, I don't want to say indemnify us, but I'm not thinking the right word. Is there something that he could do that says, I take that responsibility? That if,
Well, the problem is you do it on behalf of the authority
yeah,
because you're marking authority sewage lines
yeah.
is the problem. I mean, you are statutorily required to adhere to the 811 statute. It's I can't remember. I just was looking at like Act 59, I believe. I don't remember off the top of my head. But the responsibility still lies with the authority. And, you know, I went through a very similar situation with one of my municipalities where their line was incorrectly marked and a separate water authority dug where they said it was okay and it wasn't. Everyone's suing everyone now, and then the utility commission fined everyone. My client got the lowest fine, but it was still a pretty sizable fine. The authority, quite frankly, the municipal authority, was the one that got hit the hardest on that. So, no, in my opinion, there's no way to just say, Len, that's your responsibility, because at the end of the day, it's still statutorily, it's the authority that has to comply with the 811 call. I could look into, maybe there's an outside company that does that sort of thing, or double
There
check.
is actually, there's quite a few.
Yeah. I say no, but I
Pretty
could also look into it too a little bit more thoroughly because I just don't know for sure. But again, it would still be the authority's responsibility at the end of the day.
Yeah, and honestly, even if I would not be in favor of a third party because I feel you lose control.
Mm-hmm.
Being somebody who's familiar with our system, so but I know there is, but maybe you could see what they offer and how it.
That's fine. I could look into that.
How they indemnify.
And the benefit you all have is your sewage lines are relatively new. I mean, I deal with municipalities that have water and sewage and sewer lines that are 100+ years old, and the plans are basically, well, it might be 6 feet from that tree over there, that sort of thing. It's kind of a disaster, for lack of a better term, on that front. But look, I mean, it's something you got to do, unfortunately, and it's just the way it is.
Yeah, I know there's a company out there, like I said, that, and they're in here because they always sponsored the WIN conference.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They
love that
they
conference.
do like a whole.
Yeah, there's a company in the
conference,
PMAA monthly magazine. So
Yeah.
I just threw the one the other
Yeah,
away
that's
a couple days. Okay.
Okay.
What do they charge? Do you have an idea?
I have
remember
no
when
idea
we
on
looked
that.
at it, it was far more than what I felt, but I felt we lost control. I think we need to have somebody who knows our system, and because, for example, when you know this, I'm sure too, when you have like West End Power Company farms them out, or the gas company, I think they farm them out, and they're never right. I can't say never right, but the Judy's some college kids never do. So, do the rest of you have a problem with not having a second set of eyes?
I don't, but I'm okay with, but, because like I said, it's, like, this is a rarity that we have, and like Lenny's not gonna screw, if he was gonna screw it, he'd have screwed it a long time ago. So, I mean, if it's a rarity to have 29, why would you? Well, why are we paying a helper then? Where? The only
Oh,
one-
when one calls, the board will provide, yeah, what's that mean? Provide a help, when you're,
Once a month? I'm
Yeah.
not seeing that here.
yeah, I didn't see that either.
Operator will answer the calls. Am I not looking at the right thing?
Yeah, you have a different one. Yeah, here, yeah, what's that? What do you have that on there for?
Don't ask me, I don't know. That's the number here. All right.
I just underlined it. It says the board will provide.
I think maybe that might have just been for up here, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, let's have to serve.
yeah, no, that's okay.
for eye tests.
So we're gonna scratch that line out.
Well, I need help.
No, no, no.
No,
honey,
this
it's
says
Down below, down below.
811 calls.
Under
It's,
811.
it's under 811 calls.
I underlined it, under 811 call.
It's just written twice. I think it was just written twice, but I don't know. That's the one they're talking about.
Yeah, under 811.
Okay.
Is that just a mistake? Or is that in the occasion where you do need a second?
That's what it's for. I don't need a person every time I go out. I've been doing it for years.
Okay, so when, for years by yourself, when you needed somebody, you've taken somebody with you?
That's only happened a couple of times.
Let's do this then.
Wipe it off.
Take it off?
If that concerns you, wipe it off.
Well, let's take it off, but
Okay.
let's do it this way. If you guys, that if you feel that there's one that you need, because you need help sometimes, hard, because if a manhole down there in the woods and the other manhole's up here in the woods, sometimes you need somebody that's like, it used to take sometimes 3 people because you would have one person
In the
stand,
middle, and
on
one,
one,
and one end, in the
one
middle.
stand on
one
the
in
other, and then the person in the middle would go with the paint stick, and you would tell them, you know, you're trying to eyeball the, you know, match up noses here. And if you're off the line or on it, mark it because you might be marking. So there is one, like I said, we've done it, but sometimes there's been even 3. So let's do this. Let's change that to say, if a helper is needed, you will contact the board and it'll be at that $15 rate.
You say that before I do it?
Before you do it, you will contact chairman or vice chair. How's that? Because at the time it's that way, and then we can say yes or no, or I'll say, you know what, Teresa said she'd come help me for free. So let's change that.
I bring them on.
So the board will provide and pay a helper if required. And previously approved by an official. And you just go down through this. So if I wasn't available, or whoever the chairman is, the chairman wasn't available, you go to the vice chair. If they're not available, you go to the secretary or treasurer. And sound fair?
I get charged by the hour for all that too.
No.
We're talking $30 call plus 15.
Okay, so then we're not gonna need you 1811 call.
Good. I'm
Okay.
good with that. I have a question.
Yes.
If he's hired to do this as an operator, how can he say he's not gonna do it? Not gonna do it. He's just not gonna do it.
Well, he can, because he would be in violation of the contract.
Well, that's what he's saying.
Why
Why
don't
don't
you have a
do it?
contract? That's why. He doesn't have a contract yet.
Bullshit.
So
He
you're,
said it before.
That's not what she said.
Before.
She just
He
said,
said it before. I won't do it. I won't do it. It's not, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. And when an answer, I
Well, we
never
talked about
knew people could work at a job and say, I'm not gonna do it.
well, I think what you're talking about just a few minutes ago. was
I've heard him say it a million times.
Okay, well, at least this time, I assume that you were saying that
that's
we
what I.
don't do it
No.
a certain way, you
You weren't
need
here for
to
a
just as
long
easily walk, correct?
I was told there was
I'm
no
lost.
need.
I'm lost.
Well, I mean, earlier, you and I were had a little bit of a heated exchange, and you said something about, well, I just won't do it, or I don't know, something.
I mean, I think if you want to pay somebody else to do it.
No, I think
No, no.
that's how you said it,
Yeah.
but yeah, you were saying,
Yeah, if you want to pay somebody else to do that. Yeah.
okay. But if we have a contract, and let's say it's, the 811 calls come in, Tim, and he says, you know, I'm not going to this week, I don't feel like it, or I don't want to, or you piss me off, Carol, so go do your own, you know, he's in violation of the contract, right?
Yes, I mean that's one of his responsibilities.
Well, he refused to
Oh,
do
as
it.
public
I know.
employee, real quick, public employee, so it's not
Yes, he has.
it's not an easy process, I'll just say that, but we're straying into things that may be best discussed in executive session, quite
Okay.
honestly here. So, I'm just, if we're going to go that route, we should probably go into executive session. But if you're going to talk contract, I mean, even a contract, Granted, with Len and Neva, you wouldn't necessarily be privileged in that discussion because you're, it's not just the authority. I'm talking legal privilege, the discussions with me, but it could still be something done technically in executive session. If the board wants to, excuse me, the authority wants to vote to do that, you can do that right now, and I could turn off the live stream, which I think you should do. I'm going to recommend that.
Yeah, okay. You're gonna recommend turning off the live stream?
Yeah, I'm going to say, why don't you vote, seek a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel and contract matters.
Okay. So we have a motion to go into personnel and contract under executive, made by Pat at 7:53.